There he goes again.
Yeah, baby!
My little buddy here is exceedingly excited because he just switched to Central Pacific Bank.
It's epic!
Without CPB, I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
All the places we can go.
I always say I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I never realized that perfection is so tied into expectation. And I might have let go of the perfect view of what I wanted, but I still had an expectation of what I wanted at the end. And once I could let go, I haven't totally let go, but once I start to kind of let go of expectation of like what revenue should be at this month, you know, what it should be at next month, what that, you know, social media campaign is supposed to look like, what I wanted it to look like, that's where my biggest challenge has been, is just like really letting go of the expectation and like setting things free.
Aloha guys, welcome back to Uncut Hawaii. I'm Kolby.
And I'm Andrew. And this is the podcast where we talk to Hawaii's most innovative and interesting creators, change makers, and entrepreneurs.
And today we have an amazing guest. This is Allison Song. She's a fashion designer and owner of Allison Izu. Sacred Hearts grad, went to UH Manoa and New York Fashion Institute of Technology. In 2010, featured in Oprah Magazine. So cool. She celebrated 15 plus years in business. Her motivation is empowering women through her brand. And she just celebrated a birthday, right? Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
And Christmas.
And everything else. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
How was your December?
It was
Coming
good.
off of a crazy season.
Yeah, it was crazy, but good. Like, good team, good area. Manoa is so supportive. So, yeah, it's been a different experience for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Especially like in like fashion, right? Like it's kind of busy year round, but especially during the holiday season, right?
Yeah. And it was funny because, you know, you make all of these like goals and revenue and we have to hit all these things. And this year was so different. And I was talking to so many other brands and, you know, it's like, it was almost like a lesson for us to be like, just accept what's happening. You don't have to like push all the time. So really receiving and like the whole ebb and flow of business and just being okay with it, I guess, is my
like
lesson.
that.
So that took like 15 years to realize.
Yeah, more than that. Because I told my kids, this is a lesson that mommy has been like learning for 47 years of my life.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard. Surrender is like, yeah, every time I think I've surrendered, I have to surrender more. It's like ridiculous.
That's a good
I
point.
so relate to that though, because I was just thinking about like, you know, New Year's resolutions and like power word and all that. And I think even like similar, like up until this year, it was always like hustle, like more, like do more and like hire more or whatever. But then now I'm just like, I'm tired. I actually don't want to hustle more. Yeah.
Shouldn't it be easy? Like, I'm like, it's supposed to be getting easier. And I think sometimes I think it's me. I'm the one making it hard. Like, I could just like surrender and make it easy. And like,
That's true.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I like that shift.
Yeah,
I like
is.
it for us.
I like it for us. Let's all do it.
Yeah. Let me
funny,
get there. Yeah.
Because even when you talk about resolutions, I was like, I feel like I chose surrender like 3 years in a row. Like, so that means I still haven't learned the lesson and I still have to like dig a little deeper to let go of something.
You're surrendering, but like you said, you need to surrender more.
Yes.
Every single time you surrender something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
do feel that there's like a little shift in the tide though. Like it's a little bit more like accepted to not be hustling as much.
Yes.
And more encouraged to just like be more intentional or like peaceful and
Yes.
satisfied with what you have. And
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, that whole gratefulness thing.
Yep.
It really like you really have to live it. Like you can say like, "Oh, I'm grateful," but if you're always comparing yourself to other people or like where you should be, you're
That
not
envy,
really grateful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
different.
Sometimes it hurts to hustle.
It does.
It actually does.
It does. In your soul.
It hurts soul. Yeah. And then as parents too now, like what are we teaching our kids?
Yes.
Honestly, like
Right.
do we want them to work this hard? Like do we want them to have to hustle this hard to like make it? And like what kind of example am I being
Right.
to them, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because we always tell them like, I always tell my kids like, I don't want you to compare to yourself to other people. You compare yourself to yourself, but then I'm also like, that's not a good lesson either. You know, like it's okay to not improve every year. It's okay to kind of plateau sometimes. It's not the end of the world, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Did you?
How
did
far?
You,
No, just kidding.
how far? I mean, did you always know you wanted to be in fashion or to be a business owner even?
No, I initially went to UH. I thought I was gonna go to like psychology or something.
Is that what you majored in?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
beginning.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
beginning, like we all freshmen do. I think we
yeah,
all.
yeah. It's that or like communication.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't know what we want to do. And then I took a sewing class at UH, and I was like, oh, I think this is what I want to do.
Nice.
Not even back in the day. Is back in the day. It was before Project Run. It was before
Yeah.
all of this stuff. So fashion wasn't on my radar.
So you weren't,
even.
you weren't even exposed to it before
Yeah,
that.
it
You just
wasn't
took it because you
like
had to. Yeah, like
cool.
oh, sewing. Okay.
Yeah, sewing. Yeah, exactly.
It's like
It wasn't
grandma's
cool.
patterns.
It was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was that. Yeah, and then I took a patterning class, and then I was like, oh, I could do this as a career. Is this a career? Right. I went away to FIT. It's funny because even when I came back, people were like, "Can you hem my pants?" Like that's all they
Yeah, they
knew
know. Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
fashion.
Yeah. Oh, you sew?
Yeah, I do sew. Can you put this button back on? And I was like, "That's not really what I do," but okay, yeah.
In general, I guess Hawaii wasn't really exposed to that
Yeah.
too much yet before, like you said.
like local designers,
Yeah.
like
Right.
there are now. Like,
Right, right. It was different. I mean, I interned at like Local Motion and those kinds of surf shops, but there wasn't really other than like the bigger Aloha shirt brands.
It wasn't like cut and sew stuff though. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. It was the graphic arts, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's totally different now, which is amazing. Like the landscape now, amazing. It's so encouraging and empowering to see all of this like young talent and creativity. Yeah, keeps us motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to New York, came home, and then what did you do after that?
Oh, all sorts of things.
What did I not
Yeah,
do?
what did I not do? It's funny, when I came back from school, my father's a serial entrepreneur, I like to say. So he's started all kinds of businesses. So I work for the family wastewater business, which is funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did all sorts of things when
Dirty
I first
jobs.
came home. Yeah, exactly. Legit dirty jobs. And people would joke like, "Why did you major in engineering?" I was like, "Oh, no, fashion." I swear I'm qualified to be here. I don't know. Yeah. So it was, and then I just kind of got into retail again. And at a certain point, I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just going to like do this. And it's like everybody, it starts off as a side hustle. And then you kind of see if it can actually take off and make money. Yeah. But
So that was 15 years ago.
15. It was a little over 15 years ago because I did different iterations of a clothing brand. I used to like buy vintage clothing, go to thrift stores and like remake it into clothing. And then I went into denim, which is how I got recognized for Oprah Magazine. So yeah.
Because then I read somewhere too, like you put all your money and resources into like ordering your first batch of stuff, right? And it didn't come out.
You did some digging on me.
Yeah, I did some research.
You did research. I like it. Okay.
I mean, I've known you for a while.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Like not on this level.
Right.
But yeah, so like, what? It didn't work out the first time.
Yeah, so through my dad, who's an entrepreneur, I met some people who were like, "Oh, we can help you, manufacture your brand." And so they helped me in China, and I manufactured like 2,000 pairs of jeans. I spent 2 years like developing, designing, making petite jeans just for short women. And it came in, and it was like Christmas. Around Christmas time, I got the boxes, and I was like in public storage, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? This is not what I was like crying. I was like, oh my, I don't know what to do.
Was it not what you were
It was
expecting?
like, it was completely wrong. It wasn't the fabric. I had sent American denim there because I wanted it manufactured in a really specific way. I sent trim and all of this stuff, and it wasn't my fabric. It wasn't my trim.
It was totally off.
Totally different. And it was like, you're like, wait, what?
Like, is this my order?
Yeah. And it was like, so
And they sent you 2,000 pairs of it?
2,000 pairs of it. I had already sold into stores here, local.
no.
Yeah, set up events. Like, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, it was like one of those moments where you're like, you could just give up. Like, I could just not do this anymore and just
call
like,
it a
sorry,
loss.
just joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And go do something else. And I was like, no, I've got to figure this out. I told all my, stores what was happening. I jumped on a plane to LA and I literally just hit the ground running. I had credit cards and like trying to get at least 200 pairs of jeans made.
Wow.
So that I could at least, cover what I promised these boutiques and do an event and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was crazy.
So are they still sitting in storage? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't know how many years ago I did this, but Mumu Heaven, we collabed and she took all my fabric and she made like pillows and aprons and bears and
From that batch?
From that batch.
Oh.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh, at least you were able to repurpose
I know.
it.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we were, because, you know, you didn't want to waste it and I didn't
Yeah.
want to sell it. It has
That's
my
a
name
lot of
all
denim.
over it. Yeah. So I was
right.
like, I can't put that out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
People might
I
be like,
got the
oh,
OG.
yeah,
I
I
got
got
the
the
OG.
OG.
Yeah, there's some people with bags. Like we made my dad calls them butt bags, like the butt part
The
of the.
pocket.
Oh,
yeah,
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 yeah.
So we made like butt bags and
Oh,
like, yeah,
cute.
yeah.
I like that.
Oh,
Some
nice.
people have
At least
it.
I was able to like repurpose.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, not in the landfill.
So back to that original order, like what was that whole process? Was it like months that
It's
like
2
how
years,
long?
right? Like
Yeah.
Oh, 2
yeah.
years to
Because we were trying to find factories. So I went up to China. You know, one of my dad's friends like took me around to meet all these factories and, you know, it was limited. It's like outskirts of China, you know, where a lot of the factories are. So that's why, and then I still had to go to LA to find my denim that I wanted American made denim and all of these things. So it took a long time, our process.
So it wasn't just like the financial like loss, but it was
Right.
like 2
Time and
years of your
energy, yeah.
time or
Yes.
years of your time. Yeah. And
Yes.
flying all over the place. Wow.
Yeah, and in your
That's
head, you know,
devastating.
yeah, and in your head, it was so new. Like, you know, I've always been short, so it was new to start a brand that was focused just on petite women. So even when I hit the ground running in LA with a sales rep and a showroom, everybody was like, "Oh, we don't have short people. That's not our customer base." And I was like, "Really? That's so weird because I'm short.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm sure other people are having the same problem." But that was in the heyday of denim when they had denim bars and denim was like $300-$400, you know, and people would tell me no, like they wouldn't pick up a premium petite denim brand, you know, so.
People just had to hem their jeans.
Yeah, people just. I feel like short people just weren't shopping. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
where
yeah, we're
Wearing capris.
where were we? Yeah, yeah.
So, spoiler alert, you ended up getting featured on Oprah Magazine. So, what happened in between those two events?
Yeah, so I had to keep. The great thing about fashion is you have to keep making clothes. You can't just make one collection and be done with it. So I had to continue and make, you know, new collections, and it was about my third drop that I found a PR company, and petite was kind of something at that time. And when Oprah had her magazine, she always did this like feature of certain things for shorter people or curvy people, and so we got featured as one of the denim brands. But it was like a good thing, but I was so small that I wasn't prepared for what came afterwards.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's
That's
something
a good
people don't talk
point.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't
That's-
have the funding to. All of these people came to my website. I didn't have enough jeans to sell
Inventory.
them.
Yeah.
So it was like
Oh, yeah.
really
Yeah,
hard.
because
I didn't
you're
think about
just
that.
Hawaii based.
I was just Hawaii based,
And then all
and
of a sudden-
online wasn't even a big thing then. You know, it wasn't what it is now, and so I just wasn't prepared. I made maybe like another 300 pairs of jeans in LA, and I didn't go up far enough in sizing. So there was a lot of lessons learned that I missed a really big opportunity because of funding.
But then
yeah.
you also needed that to then
Yes.
learn and figure it out.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the other side of the coin when
Right.
something
Yeah,
amazing
yeah.
happens. Like,
Because that was also that Oprah Magazine thing was the thing that got me into the door to like sit down with like Nordstrom's and Bloomingdale's, and so that was like the reputation that you know kind of helped to build the brand, basically, or the name. Yeah.
oh, interesting. Okay. So what happened after that? The 2010 Oprah Magazine thing happened, and then where
was the
did you
first
go
thing you
after
did?
that?
What was the first thing I did? No.
Yeah.
Drink. And
Yeah,
then, no. It was funny because that's when I gave birth to my daughter. So
Oh, okay.
I would say, like,
2010.
yeah,
Yeah.
was after I kind of gave birth to her was just kind of a roller coaster. That's when I got into Nordstrom's, and then it just kind of took off from there. But it was funny because you don't know, like, it's funny because when Brian Tatsumura used to be the GM from Nordstrom's, and everyone would be like, how do you get into Nordstrom's? He'd be like, you should go talk to Allison. Because, like, I think I just stalked him for a really long time. Like, you know when you're in Nordstrom
That's
and they
the
say
ticket.
people's names on the loudspeaker, they're like, Brian Tatsumura in the shoe department.
Like,
I'd be like, oh, I got to go talk to Brian Tatsumura. like legit stalked the man.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is some
Shoe department. All right, let's
Yeah,
go.
he will definitely say yes. I like joked to him all the time. It's like, I'll just roll jeans in. You don't even have to pay for it. I'll just roll it in and leave it here, you know?
my
just to say
God.
I'm in Nordstrom. Yeah. So,
Technically, you are.
yeah, exactly. And so I think he just gave me a break just so like, because I was annoying him so much. He's like, all right, you could do a trunk show, Jesus. And this was before Nordstrom's even did trunk shows. Like now they do a lot of it, but it was, they didn't even know how to do a trunk show because it just wasn't part of their repertoire then. But it's just funny. He'll tell that story all the time.
Nice.
I love that. That hustle.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
hustle mentality.
Yes, yes.
Just do what you got to do. Get
yeah.
yourself in there.
Yeah.
What was crazy is that was all happening when you're also figuring out how to be a mom
Yes.
and run a business.
Yes.
And
exactly.
so, yeah, what was, if you think back at like that era of your life when everything's like popping off and then you have the babies, like, what do you think of that time?
I mean, I'm amazed at what I was able to do with a little one. Like I would literally strap her in, take her to factories, take her to meetings, and everybody was so supportive of it. Like the factory sewers would like carry her while I'm like doing patterns or whatever, you know, and it was just like, and I think it was just like such a good experience for me to go through because when I had my second, I was like, I really need to make enough money that I can actually put them in preschool so I could like really work and get stuff done. Yeah.
So like, what, you know, I just had a baby. And like, you know, you were operating your business like up until 2010, right? And like when you gave birth to Olive, like did it change like your perspectives or your goals or like, you know, how you operated like your systems and whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, at that point, that was really when I was like, I need to either hire or find interns to support me because before it was just me doing whatever I needed to do. And at that point, I was like, I'm more important to Olive than, you know, and other people could do packing of orders and that sort of thing. So I really needed to ask for help, which is really hard, I think.
I think it's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially when you start a business to say like, I can't do it all. I need help. That's like a
Or
really hard
like
thing.
when you're in that position, like actually I can pack like 10 orders like faster than you can do that one.
Yes.
So
Yeah, yeah,
why
it's
am
like,
I
why-
going to pay
yeah,
you
yeah,
to
yeah,
do-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can do it so much
Yes.
better and more efficient.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah.
When you
That's
have a baby.
surrendering.
It is. It is. There's that word again. Oh my
no,
God.
that's gonna be the
it's
theme of
haunting
this
us.
also, yeah.
Exactly.
Allison Izu surrenders.
When you think you've surrendered, surrender more.
There it is.
That's a soundbite right
Instagram
there.
reel. Boom. No, but yeah, I mean, like that's such a big thing because like when you, especially as an entrepreneur, you start your own business, you're doing everything yourself, and you're like figuring it all out, and then at a certain point, you're like, oh, I think I need help.
Yeah.
And
to
letting
find
go
that-
of the control.
letting go, is
Exactly.
big.
Especially if it's your name on the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, who
Brand.
thought to name a brand after yourself? That was the dumbest move I've ever made. I did not come up with a good plan. I was like,
Pro
oh,
tip.
yeah. Don't name a brand after yourself. Yeah. I took my middle name.
Yeah.
It was easy, but still,
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
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 But then there's that extra like pride that
It does.
Like, it has to be perfect.
It
has
holds
my
you.
name
Yes.
on
It holds
Yeah.
you to a level of definitely a pride and
Accountability.
expectation. Yeah. Yeah.
But you got through that.
I got through
era.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was like the next growing point? Like, so you finally hired people to help.
I think after that, I was fortunate enough to get into Nordstrom. They had a petite department, so it was like understood this whole kind of, you know, facet of fashion. And that's where I kind of learned just how to merchandise, how to create a collection. My manager there really kind of like developed me and was like, hey, we need tops, we need this, we need that to go with the jeans. And I was like, okay. And I would just kind of make what she needed. And that's kind of where I learned how to create a collection. And also like, you can only buy 1 or 2 pairs of jeans a year.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
So I
If they're
didn't.
good pairs, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you don't need it. Like people still to this day will come. I still have your jeans. I still wear your jeans, and I'm like, oh, I made it too good because you know, like, you had it for that long.
yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah, and so now you're
They're
like,
timeless.
yeah, they're timeless. I'm like, darn it, don't you want another one? You know, but yeah, so it's crazy. But she was the one who kind of helped me to understand. Like, you have to make tops, you have to make jackets, you have to make other things so that the customer can keep coming back to buy from you. And so I learned a lot from being in Nordstrom's because of that. And being alongside of bigger national brands and seeing what they were putting out and what people were purchasing, that kind of helped me to understand kind of how to find my niche, I guess, a little more.
So originally you started off as like creating denim for petites. But then at what point where you were like, okay, now I'm gonna like broaden that a little bit more?
Yeah, so that was like around that time. It's funny because I always remember in the series of how old my kids were. So around like 2012, when my son was born, I was trying to do other things with other brands. Andrew knows he shot one of my campaigns for like, I tried to do like a family brand for Japan. And I was just kind of testing the market to see what I could do. And then I realized like, I'm just going to stick to women's wear and I'm going to grow my reach a little more. And because I was in the petites department, my customer was a little older customer. They understood petites, they understood what they needed, and they have more of a disposable income also, right?
Yeah.
So they're not young moms, not able to buy themselves clothing. They were professionals. And so I really knew who my demographic was. And I feel like I ignored it for a really long time, that demographic, because I was like, no, I want to make clothes for me. But I somehow along the way found a way that I could make clothes for me and them, and kind of like make something that both of us could feel good in, challenge them a little outside of their comfort zone, but and still keep pushing boundaries for myself. So, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that moment you realize.
Yeah.
And you're like, you act on it too.
Exactly. Because it's like we're saying, so it's like in the beginning, you're like, oh, make pretty clothes. Oh, make clothes for short people. And then I went a little deeper than that. And I was like, these women are not feeling valued by the fashion industry. That's how I felt as a short person going to school at FIT. I had a fit model who was like 5'8", glamazon. I felt unseen and unheard by the fashion industry. That's why I started my brand for petites. And then there's this whole other group of women who also feel unseen, unheard, undervalued. And I wanted to make sure that they felt seen and heard.
Yeah. That's amazing that you can give them that just by like giving them like the right piece of clothing.
Exactly.
That you like put something on and all of a sudden like you feel different.
Yes.
Like you feel comfortable. You feel like this was made for me.
Right.
Like somebody's thinking about me as they're designing this.
Yes. Yeah. And as I age, your body changes after you have kids, everything changes. And so your mindset, I still think I'm 30 something but my body.
Definitely still look it.
Age is a mindset.
Yeah. Age is a mindset in your mind, but in your body, it's like not. Physically, you are aging.
I definitely ain't 30 anymore. Nope.
And the proportions that fashion creates, just waist, hip, that sort of thing, is based off of a younger fit model. So it's unfair at 40, 50, 60 to think that we have that same proportion anymore.
And then you need to fit yourself into that.
Yes. And so you go into stores, like Lululemon or like whatever, and I'm like, what size? That's my size? Like, I don't feel that size. But it's because different parts of your body are kind of growing and, and changing. And so they are designing for a specific body type. So it's not, I want women to know it's not your fault, right? Every brand creates their proportions based off of their brand and their demographic, but it's not you that is the thing that is wrong. It is just that brand is not made for you specifically. Yeah.
That's important to know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We get stuck on sizes, which we
and
should.
a lot of people beat themselves up on it too.
Yes.
It's just mentally like not good. So.
It is, yeah.
Well, and I think about like there aren't like I think of yours as like a very modern like luxury locally made brand, but then when I think about like where would my mom shop? I'm like, I ain't shopping there.
Right.
Sorry, Mom. But I'm not there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like that in between where it's my mom could totally wear Allison Izu.
Yes.
But like I could still,
Yes.
it's like.
And we love that. I love when we're in the store and we see like moms bring their daughters because they're just graduated from college and they need something professional to wear to work.
Yeah.
But mom can still shop and then she could still buy something for her mom, right? So there's 3 generations of women that could shop there and still
I
feel
love
comfortable. Yeah, and it's still, it's not too fitted. We create different body types for different people and so everyone can feel comfortable finding something, which is nice.
I love that you can, I come back to it again, but it's like, I love that you can give them that feeling through fashion.
Yes.
Like, so it's like whatever kind of thing, whether you are a clothes designer or like whatever you do, it's like that feeling that you're like being inclusive, that you're helping people feel seen.
Yes.
Like, and that you're doing it through fashion. Like that's your avenue. But like that's just cool that people have the power to do that.
You're
That's like a
empowering
superpower.
women.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it is.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
really
awesome.
cool. How has your brand changed as, I mean, it's like now you're 15 plus years, so it's like matured. And so has it changed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I still focus a little more on a petite, like a shorter woman. But now, as I'm getting older, I think I'm really realizing like I want to dress a certain way. I do still want to make the basics that my customers are used to, but I also want to push boundaries for myself as a designer and also what I want to wear. So I'm really trying to develop myself as a pattern maker on the more technical side of it, so that I can expand and broaden my collection, which is a huge challenge, you know, to be able to focus on the craft part of the business. For so long, as business owners, we start a business, we think we're going to do all the creative stuff, and we're actually doing all of the leadership stuff and the back end stuff, and you lose that technical creator of yourself. And so now I kind of get to kind of go back there. You know, I've built a really strong team to support me, and so I can kind of be a designer again, which is weird.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. That's like the full circle.
It is, yeah. So draping new styles, trying to test things through my customers too, to see, can I push you a little outside of your comfort zone to try a new silhouette. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that was a really good point, because a lot of people or, you know, aspiring entrepreneurs, they don't realize like, hey, starting a business is actually really tough. And like when you actually start your business based on your passion, you're actually not going to be working too much on your passion, and you're going to be working a lot, you know, like on building the business and like making sure it's a successful one, and like so many parts to it, managing your team, and hiring, all that stuff. And like you kind of lose like that technical aspect, like you said. So that's really cool that you're able to like, you know, you did the whole process. You started your business, grew your team, and now you get to be like
but
creative.
also like
creative.
kind of like fall in love with it.
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
way,
Yeah.
right? It's like you're not letting yourself plateau. It's like you kind of figured it all out. Like, oh, I got good systems now. I got a good team now.
Yes.
Like I could just like cruise,
Right.
You know, and just like stay at home or whatever. But you're challenging yourself to like go back into it. Like fall in love with the thing that you fell in love with in the beginning.
Yes.
And yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Because 15 years into a business. Because my business is 15 years old too.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like,
Congratulations.
now what?
Yeah.
Like, like, what do I want to do now? So last year, actually, like a year and a half ago, I like did something like totally different. Made a documentary, a feature documentary, which is like before it was like weddings, events, commercial. So this is like completely new. It's like still in the same like industry, but I'm like learning it from like I am like back with like the college kids learning how to do stuff like this. But yeah, it's
So you're
fun.
falling in love with the craft again, right?
Yeah, and a different side of it.
Right.
I'm like, wow, I love this part too. Like, I'm glad I get to experience this part too. Like, I want to be good at this part too.
Right.
Challenging
Challenging.
yourself.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome.
Nice. When I first met her, I used to always joke because I'm pretty short too. So I was like, dude, when are you gonna make like some men stuff? I'm just start wearing like her jeans, you know?
Some joggers.
Yeah,
It'll look good on you. Yeah.
Do you have any OG Allison Izu's
I don't. I
in
wish.
storage?
I know.
Let me get that first pair of denim.
I know. Shucks. I know. I've never been a man, so I don't know how to design for men. That's what I always say. Like, I
Oh,
can't.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
And then my husband's like tall, so
Yeah,
I was
exactly,
like,
yeah.
well, I can't use him as a fit model. So yeah, I'll just stick to the women's wear. You'll just have to wear the women's wear. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll just.
You
Start.
need-
No,
I'll
just
make
kidding.
it- yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah,
someone
we'll
short.
figure
Come
it.
on. Kevin Hart.
There you go.
No, but
Does your daughter ever like inspire you or ask you to make something specific for her?
It's funny. She's starting to like enjoy fashion a lot more. And so it's interesting because I'll actually start designing things because I see the things that she's gravitating towards and the
Okay.
trends that the younger
Ooh,
generation.
yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, ooh, I could make that for my age demographic, right? Something that would be comfortable for them. And so it's interesting because, you know, everything that is old is new again, right? And some trends come back and I'm like, really? Are we doing that again? Are we thinking this through? You know, because we lived through it. But yeah,
Totally.
it's so interesting. And so it's interesting because like one of her sweatshirts, I was designing a sweatshirt and I was like, that's the sweatshirt that I want to design, but for me. And so really understanding like at her size and her age, what she needs, but then at my age, what do I need it to look the same?
Yeah.
a whole different perspective.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish my mom was a clothing designer. Man, I would
Yeah,
like, Olive, you need to be putting your mom to work. You can have custom everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I am her stylist. Like when we go shopping, she does nothing. I'm like, ooh, this will look good on you. She just like goes in and tries it on. And like, so when she goes shopping with her friends, she's like, it's really hard. I'm like, yeah, because you don't do anything when I go shopping with you. I'm pretty much your personal stylist.
Ooh,
It'll be
nice.
interesting to see like what her style becomes.
Yes,
you know?
it is. Yeah, because right now it's like streetwear, right? They all
Yeah.
wear like,
Yeah.
it's just sweatshirts galore and
Yeah, yeah,
t-shirts.
yeah, yeah.
So it'll be
Comfortable
interesting to
clothes.
see, how it develops for her. Yeah, for sure. I've created a monster though, I think, right? Like,
She's gonna be like, this is not at the quality
Yeah,
that my
I'm like,
mom
this
makes
isn't
it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do this.
turning seams inside out at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
store. Yeah, no.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's you. That's you. You're gonna shop for her forever.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
So what is next? Like besides like the pattern making? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Pattern
Did you already
making?
launch a pattern collection or? you're still
So
working on that?
this 2024 is kind of when we're gonna start putting out. So I created like a sub brand like Izu, which was kind of where I tested.
Still your name.
Yeah, still
Still
my
your
name.
name.
I was like, Uzi? No, that doesn't work. Like, what can I do to my name to make it not my name? But that's kind of where I'll test like these kind of more cutting edge designs. And then once it does well, then we push it into the Allison Izu brand. But this year it's really about like print design too. So I'm challenging myself. I'm not a print designer, but I am trying to teach myself how to create repeats and how to kind of place it properly on a garment so that it looks good. And then creating our own colors. And so we're really just trying to push the boundaries of what we can create where it's custom all the way through. And then taking a lot of our manufacturing to LA, keeping some of it still here in Hawaii. So that's always kind of been a focus too, is when we manage manufacturing here in Hawaii, it's good at work. It's like grunt work. You're like schlepping, bolts of fabric and you're dropping off bundles. And so I kind of want to like mellow out on that side of it. And so, figuring out how we can find that balance for sure. Yeah.
What's been like, so you were talking about like when you first started, there weren't a lot of, or when you were getting into fashion, there weren't a lot of local designers. So there weren't like models of like, this is how so-and-so did it. Like, this is the path that I should take. And now it seems like there's a lot of local designers. So how do you, I don't want to make it like, how do you compete against it? But like, how do you like operate? Now it's like such a different world. So like, how do you, get your voice to stand out a little bit? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like there's just like a lot of competition.
It is. There's a lot of competition. And I feel like before I would always worry, like, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself known? And now I'm really realizing, like, if I can dig in really deep to who my target customer is, it's like weird. Like, the marketing books always tell you that. And you're like, yeah, target customer, whatever. Make an avatar. Yeah, whatever's. But this year, I love to read. So I've been reading like books about surveys and really understanding where your demographic is. And it's really about digging in deep and like understanding what their true pain points are. It's not like, oh, I can't find clothes that fits my body. It's like, how does that make you feel when you can't find clothes that fit your body? And really like connecting with them.
Psychological side.
It
now.
is. It's weird because I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, it is. It's the psychology of just like how, and that's why clothing makes us feel good, right? Is because when we put it on, we see a different version of ourselves, a better version maybe, and we're like, ooh, that's me. That's how I feel. Now I look how I feel, which is why we feel young in our head, right? And I challenge my customers all the time, like, you can wear that pant. It makes you look younger, right? It makes you feel younger, and nobody's making the rules. Like, you can wear whatever you want to wear.
It, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, I think it's
really just
changing.
knowing your target.
So
Yes.
How would you describe your target?
So I think I'm finally like understanding like my age demographic is somebody about I would like my ideal customer to be me, but my ideal customer is somebody a little older than me. She is somebody who's kind of like not able to find clothing in the stores. She's probably uncomfortable to walk into a lot of the stores that they are nowadays because she's already thinking, I'm not going to find anything that fits my body. So they're a little self-conscious. They're a little unsure. And so they kind of just don't want to shop. You know, like how men think women love to shop. We love to shop. I don't think that's true for a majority. I think because they don't feel like
It doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah.
And then when you strike out and you like go home empty-handed, it's
Yes.
like, it's not a great feeling.
You
Like,
spend so
dang.
much time there, and it's
I
like,
know.
dang,
Yeah.
I bought nothing.
Exactly. And nothing that makes you feel good. And you have a closet full of clothes, but you don't want to wear any of it. And so it's really like trying to empower that age demographic and then push out a little more so that I can now capture a younger age demographic as well. Yeah, because there are people, you know, whether you say it's actually more about body typing than it is about age, right? It's just about understanding that not all of us have the same body type. And so don't feel bad because you don't fit the Lululemon pants, you know? And so if I could create different variations of a pant with different fits for different body types, then that I've done my job and I'm able to make people feel good wherever they are. Yeah.
I love that. And then you create these like repeat customers like you're talking about. And so you're really in it for the long game. They're going to like remember your brand as like, oh, I felt really good in that. And so even if they only buy like one pair, you know, like one pant a year, it's going to be like, that will be their splurge.
Yes.
And then it's like the long game, you got them like.
And they feel great about it.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's great that, you know, you use that, I guess that like mindset to motivate you and your designs, right? Like empowering women and like how they feel and just making them feel good. So,
Right.
I think like that really shows. So
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
How about like on the business side? Like what has been like a important lesson that you've learned over the years?
Oh, God.
which one?
Yeah, let me see. I think it's funny because the surrender thing keeps coming back to me. I always say I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I never realized that perfection is so tied into expectation. And I might have let go of the perfect view of what I wanted, but I still had an expectation of what I wanted at the end. And once I could let go, I haven't totally let go, but once I start to kind of let go of expectation of like what revenue should be at this month, you know, what it should be at next month, what that, you know, social media campaign is supposed to look like, what I wanted it to look like. That's where my biggest challenge has been, is just like really letting go of the expectation and like setting things free. Because especially in creativity, you can have a vision in your head, but something else could come out and just as good, if not better. And you don't know, the customers might want that more than the strict kind of thought process that you had.
And when you bring alongside team members with a specific skill set or expertise or different, you bring them on for their perspective or the way they see things.
Yes.
So then letting them just do the thing, or like if you have like somebody making your video, like letting them do like, what do you think will look good?
Yes.
Like letting go of like what you, like what you're saying.
I totally feel that because, you know, when I was first starting the company too and like trying to build a team, it was like, you have this vision. Like, no one can do it like me.
Right.
I got to do it. I got to film. I got to edit all these things. And then like recently, you know, we have like a team now and like they're starting to create things that I'm not even involved with. And I watch it. I'm like, holy shit, that was so good. Like, what the heck? Like, I would have never thought of that, you know? And it's so cool to see and like be able to like work with, you know, those types of creators and people and like just have like that team, you know? So that's awesome.
But
it's
it
like,
does take surrendering
does.
your own
It does.
control over it.
It's so hard. That's like I'm a recovering perfectionist too, I guess.
Yeah, I think we all are.
I think
start a group.
entrepreneurs are. I think that's why we start a business, is because we're not seeing it the way we want it done. So I'm gonna start a business and fill some niche or void. Yeah,
that's so true.
Yeah,
no, that's so true. But then at some point,
you have to.
We
surrender.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that full circle, and like you just have to realize it too.
You do, because you have to let go of a lot of the ego that comes with, you know, in the beginning it's all me. I can make any decision by myself. Now I have a team, and I have to be like, hey, what do you guys think?
Yeah, like, wait,
there's other people that I have to ask and see if they're on board.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's different. Yeah.
And just like knowing that maybe your idea isn't the best idea.
Exactly. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Letting go. Huge lesson.
Yeah, it is.
What are some things you do to kind of like remind you to let go or like help you, you know,
Any
just
tools?
like surrender?
Any tools? I mean, it's gonna sound a little crazy, but I meditate every day.
It doesn't sound crazy at all.
Like we talk like we wish we could meditate.
No, that's been like an ongoing like.
Yeah, we
we
talk
need
about it
to-
every episode.
We need to do this.
Journaling, meditating.
Yeah, it's funny because in the beginning, I always tell people, like, in the beginning, I literally would sit there for a minute. I'd be like, oh, okay. Oh, that was a minute. Like, that wasn't long, right? And then it's like, That's why they call it spiritual practice, right? It's practice. You do it for a minute, and it's just like working out, and then you do it for 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and whatever. You know.
What's your daily meditation like?
I do about like 15 minutes. I can just like sit. I do a whole process of like what I need to kind of. Because in the beginning, it's letting go of all the thoughts that are going through your head. That's about 10 minutes of meditation.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Go away. Go away. Yeah.
Stop thinking.
Yeah. That's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Last 5 minutes is quiet time.
Yeah. Oh, I need to do that.
Yeah. And then journaling. And then, it kind of sets. That's why I'm not a morning person, is because I do all of this in the morning. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. And then I can come into the day just ready for it. But then I have to also kind of close my day with a meditation too, especially coming from work and then going into
meditate twice a day.
the home. Yeah. And it's a quick one, you know, sometimes
yeah.
it's just in my car because I know like I've had a really hard day. I don't want to bring that into my house with my kids. And so it's really about letting that energy go and like resetting myself so that I'm now mom. Yeah.
Oh, that's great advice.
Some of the most successful people, even that we've had onto the podcast, like that's their thing. That's their practice is like meditation. And like, it's just like, so it always like surprises, I don't know what surprises me, but it's like because they're like such high achieving, they like do so much. And then like to hear that the reason why they're able to do so much is because they do take the time to meditate and like
nothing.
to
do nothing.
to quiet
Think
their
about nothing,
minds.
Yeah.
That's so interesting to me.
It's weird because as a creative too, a lot of your most creative ideas always come when you're able to be quiet. But as an entrepreneur, we don't let our mind get quiet. So it's like we're fighting against each other as an entrepreneur and a creative. It's funny because I always used to joke, this is going to sound so weird, but I always have really good ideas when I'm like walking to the bathroom or in the bathroom, right?
No, yeah.
Because you're not doing anything else.
You don't think about anything else.
And then you're like, boom, oh my God, I got to go do that. And so that's what meditation is too. It like clears the mind. And then throughout the day, I can find moments of like quiet where I just like slow myself down. And then, you know, when you're like fighting against a problem, you're not really going to get the solution. Once I can quiet my mind, then I'm like, take a step back from the pattern or whatever I'm staring at for 5 minutes. That's when the inspiration kind of drops in. So it's because you cleared your mind space a little.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that's almost like not just it's like a necessity as a creator to like give
Find the
yourself the
quiet,
space to do that.
Right.
Because like if this is your job is like to create, then like building in these routines and things that like allow you to do that, it's so important.
Right.
Like, and you know, even for me, it's like when I'm driving and probably, but I like just like don't listen. Sometimes I like not listen to a podcast or anything, just like quiet. And like that's always a time that I'm like, have a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. We try to fill our days with like podcasts, even like walking
Anything,
or running. I'm like, I don't listen to anything anymore because, you just want to be like clear.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, just like this moment, I just realized, like, you know, I do it so often, like, accidentally. Like, sometimes I just drive and, like, not listen to anything. So it's like, if we could just make it a routine and just, like, purposely and intentionally do it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to make it a
I'm going to check in on
that one.
Yeah. I want to remember this.
Because it's like those ideas are like fighting to get to you.
They
Like,
are.
like, I can't get through to him.
I can't get through all your thoughts.
Exactly. Stop thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
this
good
was the
tool.
motivation I needed.
Yeah.
That's a good
It's
tool.
crazy. It's crazy. You're going to be like, oh my God, like left and right, you know, like I always say, this is what I tell my kids, we make our life hard because we are thinking, I need to think this through. I need to find a solution, but we can just like relax and a solution will come, you know, but
Well, that's a good
we
one for
fight
you.
it. Yeah.
But we were just talking about.
We just had like lunch or like breakfast before this, and I was like, oh, I had this whole issue, and I was like freaking out about it, and I was just like, Megan, she's been really good. She's really calm, and she was like, just slow down,
Right.
Just like
Like,
relax,
take a moment.
Yeah.
Let this pass first and then come back to it.
So that's really good.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You just gotta allow the time for it to process, and
Yes.
and the solution will come.
The solution will come. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great advice.
That's great
this
advice.
Is great.
Yeah.
I'm
This is
just
like therapy
soaking
right
it
now.
all in right now. Yeah. That's why I love this.
What else you got, Allison?
Yeah.
We need your help.
So how long have you been meditating for?
Correctly? No, I'm just saying. Maybe doing
Intentionally.
it intentionally in the last year.
Oh, nice.
But I used to sit on a chair for a while.
Yeah.
Before that, I don't know what was happening, but yeah.
Nice. That's
It's
cool.
so hard. It takes so much discipline. To
It does.
Even just to like carve out that. I mean, it seems so easy. Like everybody has 5 minutes or whatever
Right.
to like journal or
But you
meditate.
But you kind of don't also, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to like intentionally
Yeah.
set that time.
If you're intentional about it,
Yeah.
everybody has 5 minutes. But then you just like, and I know it's just so bad. Like people would like say not to do this, but I like have my phone with me when I go to bed. So like the first thing, it's like I don't even think, I don't even have a thought, and then my hand like automatically goes to my phone. And then once I'm like up and I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like looking at my email already. And like
Right.
I didn't even remember waking up. Like how is this phone in front of my face right now?
Yeah.
Your text messages come in at like, or whatever your timestamp. I'm like, damn, Kolby.
Literally, my brain at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll like wake up and I'm like, I need to get back to her.
She actually was not awake yet.
I will not read it into that. No.
It's so like turning off your brain, like
Yeah.
that
Especially
is
in this
a
day and
discipline.
age, right?
Yes.
With your phone and like so much information available to you.
Yes.
It's, like, it's so important to be intentional.
And I think that's what we think is like, to be a good business person, I have to like listen to the podcast, read the books, do all the things on my off time when I'm not actually working on the business. But as creatives, we do owe it to ourselves to just give ourselves quiet time. Yeah. Put ourselves on a timeout, as moms would
That's
say.
what we need to do.
That's a good one.
Put
That's a
yourself
good
on a
one.
timeout.
Myself in time.
Yeah.
I always come back to like my responsibility as a mom and like the example that I'm like showing my girls, because they, whether you think that they are realizing like watching you or not, they totally. My
They suck
daughters
everything in you.
are totally watching, and then they'll like call me out on stuff.
Oh my gosh,
I'll
yes.
be like, how long have you been on your iPad? And they're like, but you're on your phone.
Exactly.
You're like
Okay.
on your phone telling them.
Exactly.
Hey, get off your iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. They're smart, these girls.
Yes.
But then if we are like always, our mind can't turn off, then I like worry about them because they're not even fully developed yet, you know? And so like if they're already like all this content is like competing for their attention, and they're just like, I was just having a conversation last night she's a teacher, but she's like, I worry about this like next generation, like the amount of ADHD that kids are showing. It's like alarming. She's like, there's a huge percentage of kids that are like, if not medically diagnosed, like there's signs of ADHD. And it's because they have grown up in this their whole lives. Because my daughter is 10 and 8. We had smartphones
Access,
by then.
Right.
So I remember them watching like Surprise Eggs, like
Yes.
as one or 2 years
Yeah,
old,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, never thought I'd be that mom, but then when you need, I'm like, here,
Yes,
just take my
yes,
phone, you know?
exactly,
You
yeah.
know? So that was
Yeah.
like, it's programmed in their brain from
They don't know
when
anything
they're-
else.
They don't know
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else. Like
Yeah.
we remember a time when there was no smartphones,
Right.
But
Yeah.
they don't even, they're like, what?
crazy.
Yeah.
No phones? Like,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Exactly. Don't you feel like your parents to your kids? Because
I
you're
know.
like, back in the day, I had to open
Yeah.
encyclopedias. It's so crazy.
Now you can just
Yeah.
search it on
Now
TikTok.
you can just Google and then you can
Siri.
chat GPT a whole
Yeah,
report.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it worries me. Like that
does.
is the thing that like brings me back to like, okay, let's like think about what we're doing right now, because they're watching
Right.
and they're gonna the great things I'm passing down to them, they're also picking up those like negative patterns
Habits.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned a little bit like you do like that reset before you go into the house and you bring anything home. But like, what are some other things you do? I guess like, you know, on Kolby's topic, kind of just like preserve that, or like, you know, how are you like teaching your kids and stuff? You know, me being like a dad now of like 3 months, like I'm starting to see those things and I'm like, oh my gosh, like should I be doing that or should I not? You know, it's
Right.
kind of crazy to think about. And like I tell everyone this, but it's like having that child like changes your perspectives and
does.
goals and like how you spend your time and priorities and all that. So it's like, what kind of things do you do
I mean,
as a mother and a business owner?
I think you realize that like energy is energy, right?
Yep.
And so just like you don't want to bring work home to your family, I also realize when they come home from school that they're bringing home a lot of just crazy energy that they picked up from school and stress and friends and all of that thing. So really giving them the tools to reset themselves too. Because, you know, if my son is on the computer for 6 hours straight on the weekend, he is just an angry little ball of stress, right? He's
Yeah,
playing all these crazy shooting games or whatever. And so I'm always like, and it's funny because in our house, go check yourself means something completely different. It means like, go sit in your room and breathe, because your energy right now is all wackadoodles, right? And so like giving them that practice where you can go reset, because we tell our kids to go on timeout. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They fight against it, but it's actually a time for them to reset. Yeah. So you need to go reset. Like my daughter just went to Moana with her friends. She came home and I was like, she was just like all snippy at me. And I was like, what is going on? Go check yourself, you know? And she knows, go sit in your room and like just breathe for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then come back out and then have a conversation with me, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's good. Just giving them the time to reset.
Yeah, because they're energy too, right? And they don't know. And they don't know. They don't know that it's not them.
Yeah.
They think it's them. They went to this crazy Ala Moana center with all these people, stress.
Craziness.
Yeah. And so she comes home just like all in a ball of stress. That's not your stress. It's just all the crazies that you just picked up, you know? And so you give them the tools so that they can talk about it too, where now I can help them separate like, oh yeah, it was because this happened and that happened. And, you know, it's different than it's me, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
It's just my day got away from me, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like
I
your whole
love
life,
that.
like
That's
from
such-
your brand to like the way you operate life. It's not,
Yeah. It's not you.
It's
You're
not you.
the problem.
Yeah, you're not the problem. It's okay, it's not you. Yeah.
Just go check yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're like, go check yourself.
That's good. I'm gonna keep that one in my book.
Yeah, exactly.
Journal about it.
Yeah.
I love that. That's such mindful parenting, and I think that is a way to counteract all the craziness that they get, all these messages on social media and like, or whatever they're consuming.
Yes.
Like it's that mindfulness thing. It's like, I wish I learned how to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like I wish that was a thing when I
Yes.
was having trouble. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't me. Like I wasn't the problem. It just need to check myself. On them.
Yeah.
Gotta reset and figure it out.
Yeah.
My daughter, the younger one, she's 9 now, but she wakes up every now and then, or like she'll have moments every now and then, and she'll be like, "Mom, like I don't feel like myself," and I'm like, she says that quite a bit, and so like by now I was like, okay, what do? Like we go outside, we put our feet in the ground, like we breathe, like that's one tool. Like we have this journal, it's called the Mindful Mini. Shout out to Jenna, she made it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mindful Mini, like you can go and like write in your Mindful Mini journal. But then I've just never heard it like communicated that way. Like I don't feel like myself. But then it's like
That
'cause
is.
sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel like
I'm
myself
getting
right
chicken
now.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like myself right now. But she actually is able to communicate that,
Right.
and then we're able to like workshop that. Like, okay, does this help you? Like being out in the grass, like does it help you? Or writing it down, like journaling about it, does that help you? Like saying a prayer, does that help you?
Yeah,
And
that's
so
awesome.
I'm always like, when she says that, I like check myself too. I'm like, do I feel like myself right now? Right. Maybe she's not seeing something in me that I don't know.
That's making her feel that way too.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of our, like, this next generation gives me hope. It gives
does.
me a
Yeah,
little bit of
yeah,
hope.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You
'Cause-
see the issues, but then you see the solutions as well.
Yeah, they're like, even my younger employees, they're able to like identify emotions so clearly and then verbalize it really nicely. That's not something that I feel like my generation had. And like, it's so awesome. They're like, oh, I was feeling this and this is why I did this. And my kids too. And I'm like, that's so awesome with this new generation. They're really like in touch with their emotions and then how to verbalize it so that somebody else understands
I think
it too.
us growing up, it was just like,
don't do that.
You bottle your emotions.
Yeah,
It's
like stuff it down, stuff it down. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, just do it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Don't cry about
Yeah,
it. Just do it.
yeah,
Suck
yeah.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that
You don't
was
feel like
strength
yourself?
to
Oh,
us.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I got
You're like, okay.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I hope
Okay.
Just go to your room.
Yeah, exactly.
Go watch the TV. I don't know.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's a good point, because I think like this younger generation gets a lot of like bad rap. Like,
Yes.
oh, this next generation, they're so entitled and blah, blah, blah. They're soft.
Yeah, they're soft.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, could be soft for a good reason, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I always joke
Just find
because
that balance, though.
yeah, it is a balance.
Yeah.
Because my son, he's such a like feeling human, so deep empath. And like, and in my head, I'm like, old school would be like, suck it up, be tough, come on,
Yeah.
and but why we need more sensitive men in the world. Like it's
Totally.
okay for him to be sensitive. And like
Totally.
maybe a lot of his friends won't get it, but I'm like, it's okay to like have emotions and talk about it.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. So it's nice to see because who doesn't need
empowering
a
them
sensitive
too.
man? Yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like therapy or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, that's like the best. Yeah, feels great.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to your brand. What are some things you're like really excited about going into 2024?
Well, I'm kind of excited about e-com, like really like making the shift of like my perspective. So doing a lot of classes on like Facebook ads and that sort of thing. TikTok, which it's not my generation, but I will suck it
I
up.
saw you putting up
I
some.
know. It's like I'm
fun
like all the
videos.
young people. I'm like, can you just TikTok it for me? Thank you. Okay, yeah,
Can you just do the TikTok?
yeah. Just do the TikToking, whatever. Yeah.
Do the TikTok.
But really, like being able to like take my brand to that next level, kind of outside of Hawaii, and it's nice because through Facebook, we start to see orders from like New York and Kentucky and like all of these places that you're like, really okay, like
Cool.
as a brand who was built for a Hawaii customer, it's nice validation to be like, oh, I also make sense in these other states and cities.
It's not just short people in Hawaii.
Right, exactly.
I mean, petite people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're like, oh my God. So really being able to, and then you learn how to like story tell your brand in a different way through social media, which face to face, it's so easy. I don't even really know what I do or can't comprehend the process that I have. So now we're actually making a system. What's the process that we have with somebody to tell them about our brand when they come into the showroom and help them to find the pieces? That's what we need to now do in a Facebook ad or a social media post. So it's shifting that whole mindset a little. It's different, but it's
You
exciting.
have to.
Yeah.
With like life, with business and everything, you just kind of have to like continue to grow.
Yeah.
And adapt and make yourself feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Or put yourself in those uncomfortable situations.
Yes. Where you're not the expert. You
Yeah,
have to learn. You have to make mistakes. Yeah.
Nice.
Were you brick and mortar from the very beginning?
No, I wanted to be a wholesaler. I wanted to sell into Nordstrom's and Bloomingdale's. And then that industry changed because a lot of the bigger department stores started to carry their own brands. So if you weren't a big enough brand that your name was known, you kind of fell to the wayside. And so that's kind of when, for me, I became a retailer. It's not really what I love doing, but it's what I did. And then COVID happened, and that kind of pushed me to think of e-com a little more.
So you weren't really doing e-com before COVID?
I mean, it was there. We
Yeah, but
had a
like
website,
but not focused.
Yeah, it was like maybe 10% of our business.
Wow.
So now it's about 50-50.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I want it to flip where
Yeah.
10% is happening in the showroom and everything else is happening online.
Yeah.
So
I never rarely walk into a store.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, if
But-
I don't have to go into the store, I'll just order online.
Right.
Ships
Yeah.
to your house, the convenience of
Yes.
it, time, everything.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but then like how do you shift? It just seems like a huge, crazy world of like competition. Like there's so many.
Yes, there's so much competition. And then buying clothes online is so hard. You buy the brands that you know because
Yeah.
you know it fits
Yep.
you. So you can
Right.
keep buying more of that.
So
but
it's
as a
hard to
new
explore a
brand,
new brand,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the hard part. So that's where you kind of have to get into the technology of like how people fit and what it fits. It's so
Very technical.
It is. It becomes very technical. But people don't want to know all that technical stuff. Shoppers don't
Right,
want
right,
to
right.
like measure
Yeah,
their
exactly.
waist.
Yeah,
They don't want to
exactly.
do those
I never
kinds
look,
of things.
I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
order it.
Yeah, just- yeah,
I'll just go
exactly.
back to
Too
the
much
brand
work.
I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like giving them that kind of foot in the door of like, what are they going to connect to in my marketing? That's like, oh, I have to try this brand because that's me. I see myself in this brand or that model or whatever. And so really putting that story out there. And it's hard because, you want to do the glossy things with all the fashion models. But really for me, it's about putting real people, in the clothes and having them be my models. And then people identify with somebody, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that true? Like that is like now it's like the influencer age, right? Where it's like they're the ones that's selling your product. So is that like the go-to kind of route right now in like fashion?
Yeah, it's something we're exploring, that whole like shop LTK and like what
Yeah.
are people and micro influencers and kind of like understanding who we can connect with, but it's hard because the age demographic that I'm also trying to reach
Right.
is not an
Not on
influencer. I
social,
mean, there's like
yeah.
the 30, 40-year-old moms, but they're all tiny. Like they're skinny and so they're like they get it, but they don't totally get it. So then it's hard to kind of find the right influencers too to partner
That's
with.
true,
Yeah.
right? That's your avatar
Yes.
on Instagram.
Right. So it's hard. You kind of walk a fine line of like, who do I want out there representing my brand, and what are they saying, really, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like you started a business to do fashion, and then now you're like thinking psychological marketing and like doing all these things. Like, it's crazy. Starting a business is so fun, guys.
It is so fun. So fun.
Start a business, they said.
Yeah. Starting
Right?
a business and running it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for maybe like young people interested in fashion? If you could do it all over again, like what route would you take?
I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I do think there's so much importance in the technical aspect when you start a business. Like nowadays people think like, I'm just going to start a business and I'll just like figure it out and I'll hire people. But having some kind of technical connection to what you actually do is really important, because when it comes to the end of the day, you're the one making the decisions and you want to be informed, you know? And I think you don't have to know everything, but like, yeah, if you're going to be a photographer, like pick up a camera, you know?
Actually know how to shoot photos.
Yes, So like educate yourself, because now you can educate yourself through YouTube videos and everything. Like you should devour that to start a business. Like, you shouldn't allow other people to do those parts of the business for you in the beginning. You should kind of have your hand in a lot of the things, you know, and be willing to learn. Yeah.
That's such a good piece of advice, because if you have done everything, then you know how to like connect to the person who eventually, if you don't do sales anymore, like you should be able to like talk to your salesperson and be like, this is what my experience was. This is what worked for what works.
Right.
Like, to have worn all those hats.
Right.
And not maybe be like the expert in all the things, but at least know what it's like to be selling to your target customer in that position.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
weird because, you know, when you start a business, you have all of these ideas and these processes in your head. And then when you hire people, you have to create systems.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God. Like,
to write it down in a bullet point.
It's torture for creating. I know how to do it. Let me just show you.
Let me just do it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like writing systems, or now we're trying Loom videos or whatever, but you have to take the
ChatGPT
knowledge
now,
that you have, and like pass it on to somebody so that
Yep.
they can do it the way you want it to.
That's so big.
Yeah,
in any
it is.
business.
It is.
That was the worst year of my life.
Oh my God.
When I had
writing
to
systems.
systemize
Yeah,
everything.
sit everything
I
down
know.
and do it.
I know. I hate Word, period. Word documents, I hate them. They're just not how my brain works. So,
Yeah.
There's so many tools out there right now,
there
though.
are.
Because like right now,
There
I'm like,
is.
you know, pushing my team to like make SOPs for everything that they're doing now too. And I'm just like, I was looking at it, I was like, dude, you can literally record yourself, transcribe it, push it into ChatGPT, and be like, hey, can you make an SOP on this? And it'll shoot
Shut
something out.
up.
It's kind of crazy.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. You can
You
just
probably
record
don't
yourself.
even have to
Yeah.
record.
Crazy.
You just ask, like, can you make a system for this?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
How to edit whatever. Yeah.
And we'll just follow that.
Yeah,
Thanks AI.
seriously. Yeah, thanks AI. Oh my God, we'll let you do that part of the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
It's so
that's
crazy now
crazy.
with the resources and technology and whatnot. So it's like, how do you I think a lot of people are scared, but I think it's like, how do you take advantage of it and like, use it?
Have you found any ways to use it in your business?
We have. I mean, we're starting to like kind of allow it in like social media, especially when Facebook ads, because you can like write one blurb and then it spits out like 20 different options, which is nice because I'm not a writer, so that's awesome. You
Saves
know,
you time right there.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes me sound smarter. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
AI, Allison Izu.
I know.
Same
Same thing.
You are AI.
I am AI. I am not here. I'm not real.
Any last piece of advice for even like business owner or anyone, moms?
I mean, I think for us, it's just like that you have it within you to do the thing that you want to do. I think, if you could go back and tell yourself 5 years, right? That's what I would tell myself every year. Like, you have it within you. There's nothing outside of yourself that you have to, because comparing becomes really hard for us as business people, and with social media, is to see what everyone else is doing. But really, you have it within you to do what you have to do. So just go surrender and then meditate, and then you're all good.
Surrender and meditate. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
This is one thing that we ask all of our guests that come on here. It's what's something about you that many people might not know about you that you would like people to know?
That I want people to know.
That's why you don't know.
I know, that's why you don't know. Oh, I don't know. I'm not a very interesting person. I like to cook. So that's actually kind of my fun thing that I get to do is cook.
Ooh.
I mean, I am drinking wine on the side too, but you know,
That's like the best part.
that's my
fun.
decompressing.
What's your go-to
Meal.
dish?
Oh, like any kind of pasta. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird because people always say like, what's the dish that you like to take to parties? I'm like, bean dip? It's like, it's not great. I don't know, but the process is there. I like processes. Yeah.
It's like 3 glasses of wine.
Yeah. 3 glasses of
No,
wine and then
some beans.
something comes out.
Some
Yeah. Some cheese. You're all good. That's bean dip.
That's bean dip. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, sharing your story, and
thank
talking
you.
through the whole process and whatnot. How can people find you? Shop.
Oh yeah, shop us AllisonIzu.com, and then we're in Manoa. We're only open Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, but you can always check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and the TikTok.
The TikTok.
The TikTok. Yeah, this is when my kids are like, "Mom, you're like a boomer." I'm like, "I'm not a boomer. Stop it."
Everything Allison Izu, all the handles.
Everything Allison
Okay.
Izu. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. So
Thank you
fun.
so much.
Yeah,
I know.
I feel
Thank
like
you
we
so
could
so
go
fun.
forever.
I know.
We're gonna do a whole
So
nother
fun.
episode
Therapy.
just on like meditation.
Meditation. Yeah.
Check back in with us.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
how it's
yeah,
going.
Yeah.
Have you meditated at all? Like
Minute, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah.
I'll do it.
30 seconds.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, we will.
We've
All right,
done
guys.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for listening. Comment, subscribe, and follow us, like us for more. And thank you guys for listening.